What is going on, guys? It's your boy Shady Mike Gaming, and welcome to another NBA 2K21 signature shot. Today we have the long-awaited and much requested D'Angelo Russell. Let me tell you guys, D'Angelo Russell is one of my favorite players in the league. He's got an incredible game. He's an incredibly underrated player in the league, all-star caliber talent. So I'm really happy we were finally able to get him looking right in NBA 2K21. Guys, this is going to be a long video. I will have timestamps laid out all across the video so that you can get to where you want, but this is one that I really do suggest watching all the way through. D'Angelo Russell has a very unique game, and we're going to be covering a lot of different aspects of it. So just so you don't get lost in terms of what we're trying to achieve with his signature shot, because we're going to be doing things a little bit differently, I do recommend watching the video the entire way through. With that being said, just wanted to thank all of you guys for all of the support on the channel. Do me a solid, please comment and let me know who you want me to work on next. Like the video if you like the content. Subscribe for more signature shots and 2K modding related content. Also, be sure to join our 2K modding Discord, the 2K Modding Society. I know when you guys see my game, it looks a lot different from other people's. It's because of all the mods. So if you have any questions about 2K and how to mod it, that's the best place for you to get started. Again, guys, thank you so much for the support. I don't think there's really any reason to cut. Let's get right into D'Angelo Russell and his jump shot. So wow, so many people were asking me to do D'Angelo Russell, and I admit I had like this smug, like, oh my god, like, why do we need to do D'Angelo Russell? Like, I think his jump shot's pretty okay. And well, once I kind of got started and started taking a look at some of the other jump shots out there, I started to understand really the need for a decent D'Angelo Russell. So today, luckily, we're going to bring that to you guys today. Like I said, we're going to go a little bit out of order. This right here is not my signature jump shot. This is the default jump shot, but we do need to understand the default quote-unquote mo-capped jump shot so that we know what we're trying to accomplish and trying to achieve. So the first thing about D'Angelo Russell, and we're going to talk strictly about his release, and this is his mo-capped release. Yes, I said mo-capped release. He has a mo-capped release. It is 100% actually mo-capped by D'Angelo Russell, I would assume. There's no way it can't be, and let me explain. So when you take a look at D'Angelo Russell and his jump shot, there's going to be a plethora of different characteristics that we're going to want to capture with his release. The number one thing about his release is this: the hand placement. He has a very odd hand placement. That offhand is not on the top of the ball, it's not behind the ball, it's not on the side. It's really like oddly placed, like kind of like the top third, like in front of the ball. So like he really kind of palms the front of the ball. Now, because of that hand placement, the only way for him to actually shoot the ball going forward is for him to have a pretty pronounced thumb flick. The thumb flick comes before the actual flick of the shooting hand. So that offhand opens up, obviously, so that he can shoot the ball. That thumb flick is an extremely identifying characteristic of D'Angelo Russell's shot. Another thing you'll notice on the jump shot, his shooting arm does not extend all the way. It extends a lot, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't extend all the way. That is something that we want to capture. And another thing that we will notice is also he does bring the ball up the right side of his face. Not like a crazy amount, but in certain situations it can be a crazy amount. He does shoot the ball on pretty much the right side of his body. So we have that here in his mo-capped release. So I guess the question you may be asking is, okay, what's the problem and why are we changing it? Well, simply put, I don't like his base. His base just looks weird. He crunches down too much and he gets too much like he launches forward too much. Now I like how it has kind of that rotation of the left leg, but he just gets too much lift and he jumps forward too much. So I also don't like the release point of the shot. His release is high. He's got a high arcing shot, but it's not that high, so we want to fix that as well. And also the ball needs to come up the right side of his body just a little more. So the way that you fix that is simply put by changing the base and blending the release ever so slightly. If you have someone making a D'Angelo Russell signature shot and they don't actually have the D'Angelo Russell release here, they're not doing it right. And the reason I say this is because his jump shot has too many different aspects of the shot to actually capture by blending 2K releases. It's literally impossible to blend with another shot. So guys, we barely changed his release. All of the changes and the way that we were able to replicate D'Angelo Russell, I know you guys saw the preview jump shots that I shared. The way that we were able to get that realistic release point and realistic motion from his shot is simply by changing the base and blending the mo-capped form with another form. So I just want to let you guys know we're not going to be doing anything crazy with the release. Shout out to 2K for getting us a very accurate Russell. It just needed some ever so slight tweaking, and we were able to do that today. Now we're going to get into his base. All right guys, and we are back with D-Lo. Yes, I am going to show you guys the base, but first I did just want to go ahead and show you guys from the release, no matter what base you do use, the release that we came up with, and again I will show this later in the video, the release that we came up with does capture all of those non-negotiable details. Let's watch the release here from D'Angelo Russell. This is our custom release, very minutely tweaked. Number one, you're going to notice he does bring the ball up on the left side of, or excuse me, on the right side of his face. It's the left side of the screen, but with him being left-handed, he does bring the ball up on the right side. Just the motion, watch how much further it is to the right of his face than it is on the default shot, right? And you're gonna look at the offhand, you notice it still has that odd ball placement on the shot. And then when you take a look at that back angle, you'll notice that that thumb flick, excuse me, is still there. It looks fantastic. And then obviously when you look at his shooting arm, it doesn't have full extension all the way. So again, this is a really simple detail. I don't want to say like basic, because that's what makes this channel great, us capturing these little details. And again, just having that thumb flick, remember, watch, it's that motion, watch, 1, 2, the thumb flick comes before the full release of the jump shot. It looks very good. So this is the basic jumper that I came up with. Now this is where we got to have a little bit of a conversation, because we started this conversation on the stream, and you know, we started talking, you know, to people in terms of what they were expecting in terms of our D'Angelo Russell jump shot, and then we will go obviously into the footage a little bit. So the number one thing about D'Angelo Russell and his base, he actually doesn't shoot with the same base ever under any circumstances ever. His legs are all over the place. It's literally impossible to replicate the same base coming from D'Angelo Russell when he shoots. So he does so many different bases and so many different types of jump shots. There's no consistency. So what I did was I went through, and that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to go rapid fire through all of the bases that we've seen him do, and then we're going to do our best to try and replicate them. So that way, as we do choose, I will leave that option to you guys in terms of which base you'd like to use on the jump shot, give you guys some options. Again, unfortunately, we do have the limitations of 2K systems, so some of them aren't able to be replicated, but I wanted to give you guys the options, and we will obviously take a look at the different bases. The coolest thing about this jump shot is no matter what base you use, the release stays the same. All right, guys, so first up, when it comes to the bases for D'Angelo Russell, one that he's known for is he kind of shoots and just flails his legs. This is not something, in my opinion, that can be replicated in 2K. I just haven't seen anything close to a base that shoots like that. Now, across the internet, I saw people trying to replicate this motion of his legs with the Jason Kidd release. I gotta be completely and blatantly honest with you, I don't like it. I don't think it looks like his shot. I don't think the Kidd release does a good job of replicating this base. I just knew that this was a base that a lot of people wanted me to replicate in the video, and I wanted to give you something, but I don't really like this. I think his posture is wrong. I think basically everything about the Kidd base is wrong, so I personally wouldn't use it, but I did want to share it just so that you guys can have it as an option. Next up, guys, sometimes when D'Angelo Russell shoots, I don't know what else to say, the orientation of his body is just completely different from all of his other jump shots, and it's more like a quick fade to his shot. He really just kicks his leg, both of his legs forward, has a significant sway to the shot. When I feel like most of the time he doesn't really have a sweep and sway jump shot, but sometimes he does. So when he does do that motion where he leans back, I think the Brook Lopez release is the most accurate for replicating the shot that D'Lo takes when he really lets his momentum carry his legs forward, but his body kind of leans back. It looks like a fadeaway. He'll do it from 3, he'll do it from mid-range, but that's just the one that, you know, I felt replicated that motion the best. Now, next up, guys, this is where it gets a little bit complicated because sometimes D'Angelo Russell just has an overall wide leg base, and it's just wide. It stays wide. Sometimes it starts wide. Sometimes it stays wide. Unfortunately, in 2K, you got to pick. It's either going to stay wide or it's going to not be wide at all. So for those instances where he has a wide leg base, we use set shot 24. It's just got a wide base and it stays that way. None of these shots have a lot of vert, but I wanted to share this one specifically because I thought it did a really good job of replicating the wide leg base. Now, on very rare instances, actually, I only saw 2, and I think I didn't even get the clip for the second one, but sometimes D'Lo literally won't jump, and he will literally just have a stationary jump shot with no vert. I felt like set shot 25 was the best one to replicate that. I'd seen it from a really deep 3, and then I saw it from mid-range, and I think we have the clip here from the mid-range J. This isn't something that this would just really be for a niche user. This isn't something that he does a lot, but it is something that I wanted to include because I felt like it, you know, it was, hey, it's something he did, let's see if we can replicate it. I was just, you know, kind of screwing around and we were able to capture it there. So next up, guys, we have and this is the one that I've been showing on YouTube a lot. I love this base. I think this is the best looking one for Russell. The best looking, not necessarily the most accurate. Whenever Russell starts his jump shot, he starts with his legs just like this, kind of bent inwards. Those knees are close together. We use the Aaron Gordon release to replicate that motion of his knees being close together early in the shot. Now, usually his legs do spread out, but like I said, we cannot replicate his legs spreading out like that. So with the Aaron Gordon base, we're just really replicating the first part of the jumper, then the second part of the jumper kind of is what it is. However, I still think his posture is extremely accurate throughout this shot. I think this is the best looking jump shot, and you guys seem to agree because this was the one that I was showcasing on YouTube all week, and you guys really did love it. And guys, next up, matter of fact, last and definitely not least, this is the one that really I believe I'm going to roll with. You have the Glenn Robinson base. This is an extremely simple base with very little vertical. Basically, he keeps his knees together, keeps his legs at the same distance apart throughout the shot. This is, you'll notice Russell doing this when he's not doing all the crazy flailing. This is his base jumper, and that's what I was trying to capture, just his base jumper. So a jumper that's normal without all the nonsense, where if he was just in a gym alone, the type of jump shot that he would take if he wasn't under duress. I think Glenn Robinson does the best job of replicating that. So yeah, we have a lot of bases here, guys. I just wanted to showcase with video footage that it's almost impossible to replicate his shot. But we did our best, and you guys are going to leave this video with an awesome D'Angelo Russell jump shot nonetheless. So let's get right into everything else. We'll go ahead and take a look at the shot in the menu and go through everything else. All right, guys, and as we take a look at the rest of D'Angelo Russell's game, head into the jump shot, the base that I'm going to stick with personally is the Glenn Robinson base, D'Angelo Russell release. Blended to 30 with the Diana Taurasi release. What that does is it ever so slightly moves that really the motion of him bringing the ball up over to the right side of his face. Release timing quick to give Russell that super smooth release. Again, in terms of the alternate bases, remember, we can use Aaron Gordon. I think it's great. I think this is actually the best looking, most accurate, the best looking base for him, the Aaron Gordon one. It has the most accurate start of the jump shot, maybe not necessarily the most accurate end to the jump shot. We're gonna scroll through here and get to our set shots. Remember, we can also use set shot 24. That's going to give you that wide base, and you can also use set shot 25. That's going to basically give you no vertical. As we go back to our named jumpers, remember I said you can also use Jason Kidd if you're trying to emulate that leg kick. Again, I do not think it looks good. I don't think it looks right. I don't actually recommend using this one, but I know people still are going to use it if they really want to try and capture that leg kick. That's an option. And then obviously for when he's more so fading back into his motion, the Brook Lopez release works. But again, guys, for me, it's really going to be between Aaron Gordon and the Glenn Robinson release. Now, as we move to the free throw, it's funny, I actually wanted to change his free throw, but I just really felt like we were causing more harm than good. The number one thing about the free throw, his mocapped quote unquote form, is does like that weird thing with his thumb at the end of the shot. I don't know what's going on with that, but he does keep the ball, his offhand in front of the ball. That's accurate. And he does kind of bring it up the right side of his body. The only thing is it just doesn't have that thumb flick. So it's, you know, kind of missing part of the shot, but I just felt like it's got two things that I couldn't find in any other free throw, which is where he does have his hand in front of the ball and he brings it up the right side. So why change it? Break two things to fix one thing. I didn't think it was worth it. For the dribble pull up, really important. We're going with stiff 2, and you guys will notice Russell has a slow, methodical game, and that's what we were going for on everything that we picked. We couldn't find footage for everything. That's one thing about Russell's game. He's a jump shooter. He's gonna take a lot of threes, doesn't do a whole lot of I don't want to say he doesn't do a lot of setups, but it's just a lot of stop and go hezzies. He's very shifty. So not a lot of vertical, not a lot of explosiveness coming out of his game. So we went with stiff 2. When he goes to his left, he kicks that right leg around. So that was really accurate to what we had seen. I love it. Not too much vert, not too much explosiveness. Same logic for the spin jumper. He kicks that left leg, and he doesn't have a lot of vert. I could not find any footage of him doing a spin jumper, so that was that. Normal 10 for the step back. Again, the number one thing is we want him kicking, kind of really waving that left leg. Is basically, because he's left-handed, that's his dominant leg. So that was the characteristic that I was looking for through all of his movement in terms of moving jumpers, and even the fadeaways. We couldn't find a lot of footage, but we were able to get some accurate stuff there for the hop jumper as well. Now for the layup package, this was a tough one because I really actually just wanted to go with long athletes, but I made the decision. I felt like just like we had with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Russell's not a guy that goes all the way to the rim. We choose fundamental because a lot of the animations look like the long athletes package, but at the end of the day, he's laying it up there with some type of floater action. He's letting the ball go early, and that's what I was really noticing from all of the footage that we saw from D'Angelo Russell. Only one of 2 dunk packages, not a lot of dunks. He rarely dunks. Mostly rim grazers off of 1, but I also added basic one-handers off of 1, just in case it adds the possibility of him doing a poster. He had a few, like I saw a poster dunk. I didn't want to add anything crazy though that would make him start throwing down like crazy on guys, but you never know. So I just wanted to throw basic one-handers off one in there and rim grazers as well. Mainly a one-handed dunker off of one leg, so nothing crazy for there. For the post moves, again, I actually could only find footage of one fadeaway, and it really emulated fade 2. Also went with shimmy fade 2, and I went with post hop shot 7 because he does have that same kick of his left leg, so that was pretty accurate. Didn't change his hooks or anything like that. Now, dribble style, I think we can all agree that it's going to be shifty for Russell. Now, I have so many different options for how we can attack the signature size up for Russell. So I think you can go with Steve Nash. I think that's really accurate to what we've seen in terms of some hyper athletic, super quick crossovers that we've seen from Russell. That Nash looks good. We have the footage to back it up. Sure, you've got Nash. He has his own signature size up package. Didn't really see a lot of that in the footage, but it's there, so I'm sure someone somewhere saw him do this, obviously, if they have this package. Anytime I do a player that has his own signature size of package, people are like, oh, well, he has his own signature size of package. I am aware, clearly. I just try to match it as much to the footage as possible. One detail I wanted to point out was whenever Russell starts a size up in an NBA game, he usually starts with a dribble between his legs. A lot of guys start dribbling with the ball in front of them and then go between the legs. Russell is a guy that usually starts with the dribble between the legs. I also saw him doing some things similar to the Kyrie Irving size up. He's got a lot of crosses, a lot of shimmying, kind of that stutter step movement. So I felt very confident going with that. That's going to be the most accurate to that specific instance. But I'll tell you what, guys, you know, the one that I'm going to go with, I'm actually going personally, just for my personal use, I'm going to go with basic. The reason I'm going with basic is because how slow it is. Again, Russell's the guy that you can hold R2 and sprint down and then stop on a dime, then do a slow cross. I like that he starts the cross with a dribble between his legs. I really like basic for him. It's phenomenal setting up those slow mid-range jumpers, you know, coming off of a pick and roll. Really good options. If it's up to me, I would choose between basic, Kyrie Irving, and Steve Nash for the crossovers. So that's it, guys. D'Angelo Russell. I'm really happy with how this jump shot turned out. Again, guys, I want to end off by saying thank you so much for the support here on the channel. Stay tuned for some more modding related content, and also stay tuned for some more signature shots. Keep letting me know in the comments who you want to see next, guys. Like the video if you like the content. Please subscribe to the channel as well. All of that stuff helps with the algorithm, helps grow in a small channel like mine. Again, guys, join the 2K Modding Society Discord for more 2K modding, mods, tutorials, discussion, all that good stuff. But guys, other than that, it's your boy Shady Mike Gaming. Peace. Threes.